Alright, friends, so it's good to understand what is the motivation behind most of our actions. It's like our whole system is wired to go for pleasure, to go for happiness, and to avoid suffering. Like most of the things in our system, in our brain, are wired for that. We want to avoid suffering, but we want to feel pleasure and happiness in these things, right? So, if we spend so much of our time trying to achieve that, it's good to understand what is happiness and what is suffering. What is suffering? What do we experience when we suffer? Not what or who or which situation is the cause for the suffering, but purely rational. What is the experience of suffering itself? Suffering is a state of mind in which we don't want to experience a feeling we are experiencing at that certain moment. Now, this could be caused by a certain thought, a situation, a certain emotion. But the fact is that in a moment of suffering, you resist however the moment presents itself. You want it to be different. There is a conflict between what is and how you want it to be. The moment now we don't want, and we hope for something else than what is. So we can say that suffering is the resistance towards reality as it presents itself. So what then is happiness? Happiness is the experience of feeling harmony with what is now. Not feeling you should be somewhere else or experience some other sensations. It's completeness with the present moment. How the state of mind or the situation is how you want it, and you want it to be like that. There is no resistance. There's complete harmony with what is. Our whole life can evolve around trying to prevent ourselves from the experience we call suffering. We figure out whole patterns of behavior with people or situations just to avoid the reality of the moment that sometimes presents itself to us in a form we do not want. One of the main characteristics of this layer of reality is that everything is constantly changing. What exists now will cease to exist. It is a constant flow of creation and destruction. Where there is life now, there will be death later. There will be sickness, people around us will die. What you possess now might break, fall apart, or get lost, etc. As long as you are identified with just the physical layer of yourself and your possessions and your ideas about yourself, and not identified with the totality that you are part of, that you are part of something greater than yourself, you will definitely suffer. We can try to achieve happiness in two ways, and that is either to completely avoid suffering, to eradicate all the suffering in our lives. So that means that everybody has to be completely nice to us. We have to always be completely 100% healthy. We have to have all these things that we feel are gonna make us happy, all these situations. And then when the whole life around us is gonna be completely like that, then maybe we're gonna find happiness. But most of the times, even if that would happen, that's still not the case, because there is still resistance within ourselves, and that creates a suffering. But anyway, let's say that that would be possible. That's not really gonna happen, right? But still, this is something that we always try to do, to change our environment and to change the people around us and our situation in a way that we feel, then I'm gonna be happy. Now, another way of trying to do this is learn to suffer a little bit, right? So take some time sometimes. If you feel any resistance, if you feel suffering, if you feel unhappy, just sit with it for some time, be with it for some time, experience that moment, kind of embracing that as it is, invite it to be as it is and feel it for some time. And when we create that complete acceptance and not resisting anymore, then that's the same thing as happiness, right? It's that moment when there's no more resistance, there's complete acceptance, we feel harmony with what is. So when we can start to flow through life in this way, even those moments of suffering can add something to our lives, and we are not always trying to avoid in every way suffering or situations. No, we flow with life, we accept, we open up to what life has to bring us, and all these situations can make us grow into a more beautiful, open human being.